Hold on, Adi. Did I just hear you say there was an encyclopedia in China with over 11,000 volumes? That can't be real, right?
Oh, it's absolutely real. This was the Yongle Encyclopedia, created in the early 1400s under the Ming Dynasty's Yongle Emperor. Imagine ordering thousands of scholars to write down literally everything they knew: history, science, literature, philosophy, all bound up into tens of thousands of chapters. It was the biggest book project in the world for centuries.
That's wild. Why would an emperor go to so much trouble? Was he just obsessed with knowledge?
It's a good question. It wasn't really about sharing knowledge for everyone's benefit. For Yongle, it was more about control and legitimacy. He wanted to show he was the ultimate authority, so gathering all knowledge under his watch made a statement: I own China's wisdom, and I decide how it's used. Plus, it kept the scholars busy, so they had less time to criticize him.
So it was like a power move disguised as a book club?
Pretty much. And get this, Yongle was all about spectacle. When he made Beijing the new capital in 1421, he threw massive ceremonies, built epic temples, and even led armies himself to show who was boss. But he was also pretty insecure about his right to rule, so these huge projects helped him flex.
Wait, but weren't there threats outside China too? Like, did all this focus on books and parties make them vulnerable?
Not exactly. Yongle was actually super concerned about threats from the north, like the Mongols and Jurchens. He led 5 military campaigns himself to push them back, and even occupied parts of Vietnam for a while. But he didn't just fight, he also tried to win over groups like the Tibetans by building Buddhist temples and picking up their rituals.
That's a lot of running around. Did it work?
Sort of. The borders were secure. Juan de Segochefrum had been one of beneficents for a while, but Yongle's real power play was at sea. He sent out Admiral Zheng He, a Muslim eunuch from Yunnan, on these insane voyages, massive fleets, tens of thousands of sailors. They went all the way to India, the Persian Gulf, even Africa.
No way. Why don't we learn about this in school? I thought Columbus was the big explorer back then.
That's the thing. Zheng He's voyages were bigger than anything in Europe at the time. But after Yongle died, the scholar officials at court hated the cost. They basically sabotaged future expeditions by losing vital documents. China could have dominated world exploration, but instead, they turned inward.
That sounds kind of familiar. Like governments today pulling funding from science or exploration because it's too expensive or doesn't fit their agenda.
Exactly. It's this tug of war between vision and caution, or between flashy projects and practical needs. Same debates happen now. Think about space exploration budgets, or even debates over funding big scientific collaborations.
So, what happened after all those grand gestures? Did the next emperors keep up the momentum?
The next emperor, Xuande, was actually a pretty enlightened ruler. He even ordered retrials for thousands of wrongly imprisoned people and was a talented artist. But he also broke old taboos by educating eunuchs, castrated men who worked at court.
Right, eunuchs? Weren't they influential, like behind the scenes?
Oh, more than that. Some eunuchs became incredibly powerful and corrupt. For example, Lu Jin amassed a personal fortune, literal tons of gold and jewels, by exploiting his position. But when things went bad, he was executed in the most brutal way possible.
Yikes. So, power corrupts, no matter the system or the century.
It's a lesson that really echoes today. Whenever there's a closed power circle with little oversight, whether it's corporate boards, government agencies, or even tech startups, there's a risk of corruption and abuse.
So, did things get better or just change faces?
Well, after some wild swings like the emperor being captured by Mongols, his brother taking over, and then all sorts of court intrigue, China went on to have a burst of artistic and technological creativity. They invented new techniques in silk, porcelain, and even musical tuning. But over time, the drive for innovation slowed. China, once way ahead of the West, started to fall behind scientifically.
That's so ironic. They went from encyclopedias and global voyages to just So, slowing down?
Yeah, and a lot of it was because the same power struggles between visionaries and conservatives, insiders and outsiders kept repeating. The system got stuck, and eventually others caught up and passed them.
It's kind of like when a company gets huge, stops taking risks, and suddenly some startup overtakes them. Or like when governments stop investing in research and get left behind.
Exactly. The Ming story is basically a warning. Even the most powerful can get stuck if they're too focused on control or afraid of change. Innovation needs both vision and openness, or you end up with a giant encyclopedia that no one actually reads.
So next time someone says, that's how we've always done it, maybe remember what happened to the Ming?
Absolutely. If we want to keep moving forward, whether it's as a country, a company, or even just as people, we can't let fear, ego, or bureaucracy hold us back. History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme.
Lesson learned. Never underestimate the power of curiosity or the risks of shutting it down.
Well said. And that's why stories like this still matter today.
That's it for today's episode on Fun Learn Talks, where stories from business, technology, and history keep your curiosity alive. If you enjoyed the journey, make sure to follow, rate, or share it with a fellow curious mind. And hey, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment or connect with us online. I'm Anu, and I'll catch you next time, right here on Fun Learn Talks. Until then, keep learning, keep wondering.